Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Laj Irian and I talk about love, life and faith. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I don't even know what to tell you. Okay, actually do. Please subscribe and don't forget to click on the bell button beside the notification button, on the bell button beside the subscription button, so you know when I have new videos. I have new videos every single week. Today I'm going to be talking about how to bring an end to negative patterns in relationships and in life. I'll take that again. I'll be talking about how to bring an end to negative patterns in relationships and in life. Have you ever seen situations where somebody had an abusive father, then went and had an abusive relationship, then might have ended that relationship, then ended up with an abusive husband, who now continues the cycle for the daughters of that person? And sometimes these things can be spiritual. Sometimes you can be in situations where this person's father was unfaithful, then this person was also unfaithful, or this person's mother was unfaithful, then this person was also unfaithful. And many times we attribute it to spiritual warfare. And the truth is that being a pastor for a while, I've seen things, I've seen patterns in people's families that were caused by demon spirits, that were caused by either covenants made on their behalf by their parents or their grandparents or an old deity in that family. So these things do happen. And so if as a believer you are recognizing some negative patterns in your family, what might look like generational curses, there's nothing wrong with going to the Lord and saying, Father, show me what I'm missing. Am I missing something? There's nothing wrong with going on a fast. There's nothing wrong with spending time praying in tongues with your family members, not from a place of fear, but from a place of knowledge and victory. So generational patterns or patterns in one's family can be spiritual. But another thing I'm realizing is that many times they can also be as a result of mindset. And when I talked to my video about mistakes good guys make, there was something I said, if there is any man in this generation now who is an adult, he's most likely, if you are 30 years old, you are most likely a first or second generation monogamist. What that means is that your grandfather most likely had more than one wife. It's possible that maybe your father had more than one wife. And so you are maybe the first person in your lineage who says, I'm going to stick with one woman. And there's a tendency for you to buy into the lie that, oh, all men cheat, especially Nigerian men or African men. But what if it's a psychological thing? What if many men struggle with this in this generation because they never really saw it? They never really saw faithfulness and loyalty to one person play out in their generation, or their fathers never really saw it. So that's something to really think about. How do I bring an end to negative patterns in my relationships? Sometimes it may not even be a generational thing. It might be you. Every lady you date is always in it for the money. Sometimes it might be that every time you enter a relationship, you keep meeting guys who always want to have sex before marriage. Always, always, always. It could be that you'll keep meeting people who are abusive. And the fact that you are going through abuse and you've gone through it before does not necessarily mean, or doesn't mean in any way, that you deserve it. Nobody deserves to be abused. So if you're watching this and you've experienced abuse more than once, please get rid of the idea that you are deserving of this. Get rid of the idea that it is somehow your fault. And get rid of the idea that this is how relationships are. Let me just take it. When you can get rid of that idea, it helps you expect better from your relationships, and it helps you know what to look out for, know the warning signs to look out for. So very, 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 very important. I think a good place I would like to start from when dealing with negative patterns is to start from identity. I'll explain this. When you've been unloved at home, there is a tendency to want to escape to a place where you are now loved. So you realize that some people say, well, my father abused me emotionally, or my mother abused me, nobody loved me at home, and somebody wanted to marry me and I just said yes. So because there is an identity problem where this person has been told either by words or actions that they are not worth loving, the moment someone shows them even the littlest affection, they commit. So when you are able to find your identity in God, that identity gives you a certain level of confidence and keeps you from running into a relationship out of desperation. Identity will help you bring an end to negative patterns. Whether it is spiritually or even psychologically, knowing who you are in God means that you can stand your ground in the place of prayer. Knowing who you are means that you can stand your ground in the place of decision making. Knowing who you are means that you can say no if somebody who is a red flag approaches you. But if you don't know who you are, if you're not able to identify the worth of your person away from a relationship, you will keep getting into the wrong relationships. The second thing is the second thing I would say is that you should identify the pattern or identify the trauma. Some people have not even really turned back and said, this happened to me, it happened to my sister, it happened to my mom, this happened to me, it happened to my dad, it happened to my brother. You must learn to identify those patterns. You're not identifying it so that you can now be afraid and say, no, I'm finished. No. But many times, how do they say it? When you are aware of what a problem is, that problem is half solved. So some of you need to go back and really look and identify, I keep dating people that are A, B, C, D. I keep dating people that are X, Y, Z. Why? And remember, I told you, if somebody has hurt you, it's not your fault. But what's going back to those patterns to begin to identify those patterns does for you? It helps you realize maybe actions that you should not repeat again. Maybe the reason why you keep meeting abusive men is once you meet someone on the first date, you're already telling them, do you know I was abused? And so you now become prey for them. So it could also be that maybe you trust people too easily. Maybe the reason why people keep taking money from you is because when you want to toast a babe, you've not even had a conversation with her, you have sent money, you have sent plenty money to silence all the other toasters. So you must be able to identify what these patterns are, whether they are spiritual or whether they are behavioral patterns. So the next thing that will help you identify negative patterns and overcome them is knowledge. Some of you, what you need to do, I know you watch my channel, that's good. You need to watch more videos on this channel. Then you need to go to Pastor's channel, watch more videos. You need to go to channels of people who love the Lord and teach on family, on relationship, and on marriage. Because the truth is that sometimes you can't identify something because you don't even know what to look for. So the more you listen to messages, the more you read books. My marriage counselor has a book out very, very soon. It's called Love at Every Sight. You should definitely get it. But the more you listen to messages, the more you read books, the more you're able to say, it's like I'm like this. So some of you, there are some of my videos you've seen and you're like, it's like looking into a mirror. But if somebody had asked you to be able to identify some of these issues before, it might have been difficult. So when you arm yourself with knowledge, whether before the fact or after the fact, whether you are single and you've never been in a relationship before, you've been in a number of relationships and you're like, God, I beg. Arm yourself with the right kind of knowledge. When you arm yourself with the right kind of knowledge, you empower yourself to avoid negative patterns. You're able to realize that, maybe my standards are not so high. So many times, by simply growing as an individual in spiritual things and in emotional intelligence, what happens is you are able to be a better person and these patterns fall off of their own accord. Okay. Another way to bring an end to negative patterns, expose yourself to the right examples. Expose yourself to the right examples. If you are in a situation where, for example, you consistently go into a dating relationship and then you go into a dating relationship and then you have sex in that dating relationship and you say, I won't do it again, and you continue doing it over and over and over again. First of all, you need to date somebody who believes the same thing as you in terms of, I want to wait until marriage for sex. You need to have somebody who believes in abstinence. If not, you're just doing yourself. Apart from having someone like that to be in a relationship with you, some of you, the truth is that you will never bring an end to that sin until you end that relationship. That's the truth. But apart from being in a different relationship with somebody who believes the same thing as you, what many of you need is to see somebody who says, I waited. Or see somebody else who is saying, I'm waiting. And if that is the exact example that applies to you, you need to check my video until the wedding night. See comments of young people saying, I'm waiting until marriage, I'm waiting until marriage. It does something to your mind. If, for example, you realize that in your family, there's a particular way, the kind of husband your father was, that your brother now became, and you know, I'm getting close to marriage as a man. So expose yourself to people who are the kind of husbands that you desire to be. And it's not that you are creating them or you are making them a standard, because the word of God is the final standard, right? Jesus himself is the final standard. But what you're simply doing is you are surrounding yourself with a great cloud of witnesses that remind you that this is possible. Finally, if you want to overcome negative patterns in your relationship and in your life, realize that it's possible. I think that sometimes hopelessness puts us in a situation where we just resign ourselves to fate and stay in situations that are unhealthy for us. But when you know that there is hope, the Bible says that there is hope for a tree. If it's cut down at the scent of water, it will sprout again. So it doesn't matter what you've done, what was done to you, the mistakes you made, how many times you've made those mistakes. God is there to help you. His word is there to help you. Your local church should be there to help you. Other believers are there to help you. So don't drown alone. There is a lifeboat in this video, and there are lifeboats around you waiting to lift you up and to save you. What happened in your family doesn't have to happen to your children. The fact that you were born out of wedlock doesn't mean that your own children were born out of wedlock. The fact that you have a child that was born out of wedlock, that doesn't mean the rest of your children were born out of wedlock. So realize that no matter how far gone you are, there is still hope for you. The Bible says that a living dog is better than a dead lion. So in other words, you might say, I've made so many mistakes, I've done so many. There is hope for you. If you saw your neighbor in the comments, there is hope for you. Don't forget to comment on this video. Comment in the actual comment section. I know many of you might be talking in the live chat, but comment in the actual comment section. Tell me what you learned in this video. And then you can also share ideas on what other videos you'd like me to make. Alright, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and God bless.